Hey everybody, this is Black Diamond from the Crew Network, and you're listening to Basic Black After Dark podcast, the show that meets you where you are and gives you what you ask for. Through writing this book, my guest Rashana Gould, I just asked her name and I'm butchering it already. I apologize. Rashana Good hopes to inspire black and brown children to explore the world beyond their immediate neighborhood. To actually coming on air, and we found out that we're in the same state. So
Yeah.
that's a wonderful surprise. That's a wonderful surprise. Shoshana, can you tell us how you became interested in writing a children's book?
Well, you know, the best way to answer that question would be through reflection. Think back, Arthur Black. Think when you were little. Have you
Oh
ever
man,
had,
why you had to go there? That's you know
I'm
how far that
just
is.
work with me though. Think back to when you were little. Think back to your
Okay,
childhood
I
memory.
got you. So now
Have you
that's gonna hurt a
ever
little bit, but I'll do it.
have you ever had the opportunity to take a trip, an exciting trip? Do you remember an exciting trip in your childhood?
Oh yeah, it wasn't a trip, but it was someplace we went. But yeah, I do.
And you had a
I
good
do.
time, right? Do you remember it? Correct.
Yeah, I sure do. Now that you're talking about it, see, you have to take
Where,
me down memory lane. So
where
yeah,
did
I
you
do.
where did you go?
We went to Virginia. We went to Virginia, and it was exciting to go, but they got outhouses there. So I got surprised when I got there. The ride was great. We enjoyed ourselves. I think I was about 11 or 12. But when it was time to go to the bathroom, I felt like I was on Little House on the Prairie. It was an outhouse we had to use, and I'm like, oh my god. So it was great. It was an experience. I'll
Yes.
never forget that I went there with that, but it was an experience. I wouldn't say that I would do that to my children though, to take them to where I was at because they still have those outhouses in that same area because they didn't build it up. And that look how
Hmm.
long ago that was. I was 12 then. So but yeah, I do remember. See you took me to a place that
And
okay,
see,
I'm gonna get you for that.
you owe me one. You owe me one. But just like you remember, your experiences and going to Virginia and all of that. When I was younger too, my family and I always took trips. My dad would load up our family of five into the family van, and we always took a road trip. And yes, we did have to see some of those outhouses.
See, so that means that they still have them somewhere.
Exactly, they had them. But that's the beauty of having trips. When I was in college, I took my first solo international trip, and then when I graduated, my parents and we drove from DC to California. So
Oh, okay. Nice ride.
so I thought that this was the norm. I thought every family went on trips. But over the years,
Fortunately, we don't.
yes, over the years I've met a lot of children and a lot of adults, sadly to say African Americans, who never left more than 10 miles away from where they grew up. And
Mm,
I was doing research, and nearly 60% of our babies, our African American babies. They come from low income families and they don't have access to books or travel or knowledge, and they're reading below their grade level. And what breaks my heart is that these children in these communities, they don't venture that far from their neighborhood, you know,
You're so right. You're
and
so right. And it seems like you put a lot of energy into this book because I'm hearing you saying that you did research on that,
yes.
and you're right. A lot of African American children don't go that far. I remember when my children were younger, they had a summer camp called the Fresh Air Fund,
Mhm.
and I'd be embarrassed to say it was for low income families. You understand, but there are lots of children that just don't get that opportunity to do that. So children's books have been popping up everywhere, and it seems as though that's all authors want to write. Do you believe there's a greater interest in children's books now than ever before?
I love that question because because I feel that children are more in tune to their environment these days,
Mhm.
especially these COVID and post-COVID babies. They are different. They are different.
Mm.
So we
Yes,
know
they
that
are.
we we know that we live in a digital world, and our children are aware of that, and they're picking up on how to use this technology, and they're adapting very quickly. However, representation will always be important, and it's always going to matter, and that's what I
Right.
heavily believe in.
I want to say
So,
hello to a couple of people that came
okay.
in. Shanette Johnson says hello and good evening.
Hello.
Natalie, she says, hey, Miss Shauna. Dr. Carolyn Stevens,
Hi, Dr.
great evening,
Carolyn.
ladies. Um, Farron, hey, Farron. Hi, ladies, she says. Dr. Stevens says, that's good, Rashana. And she
Rashawn.
says that there are a lot of, see, here I go again. Don't sue me. There are a lot of children who don't get to travel outside of their communities, and you're
That's
absolutely right.
true.
So I reflect on my why as a strategy when I'm writing. What strategies do you use to stay motivated while working on your writing?
So I have a few tips, or should I say,
Hmm, okay.
just a list of things I like to have as a strategy. The first,
Well, share those nuggets.
yes. The first, I highly recommend investing in a mentor or writing coach, because
Yes.
a mentor or a coach, they can provide valuable guidance, and they can help you set realistic goals when it comes to your writing. They can give you constructive feedback, and hold you accountable. Shout out to my mentor and coach, Dr. Carolyn Stevens.
All right now. Shout it out.
She has been such an asset to me, and as a seasoned professional, she shares with me her experiences, which are very motivating, that help me, while I'm working on my writing.
Okay.
Uh, an-
Okay. So
another strategy, I'm sorry, that I would recommend would be developing a routine. You
yes.
you need a routine because there are so many distractions in this world, you know?
Oh my God. Yeah. So what does your writing process look like? Do you think it changed throughout the time you spent on the book?
Since I'm a first time writer, I do have a process set up. Now, as my journey continues as an author, some things may change, but these basic things that I'm about to share with you will serve as the foundation. So,
Well, don't call what you do basic because some people who are seasoned, your what you consider basic may be the key to help them move further, because you have some people who have writer's block. And
That's
what you
true.
shared as your basic may be what they may need to get them through that. So don't sell yourself short on the work that you do.
Thank
You
you
know,
for
first
that.
time writer, seasoned writer, it doesn't matter. We still go through a journey when it comes to writing and promoting. Promoting a book can feel like a huge task. How are you at promoting your book? Do you collaborate with influencers or bloggers?
I have not done that yet. Um, Promoting has been a challenge, just like you said. Right now, I am attending vendor events, and I'm heavily
Hmm.
using social media. But
Yeah.
I am welcome to all ideas because, like you said, promoting and marketing is not that easy. Once you have your product, you ask yourself, now what? You know, and so
And
that
you have a great mentor.
I do, I do, and she's very helpful,
Yeah.
very helpful.
So I'd like to hear some insights from your book. Since your story, perhaps you should share excerpt or maybe an outline, a key moment that speaks to one of your characters.
As far as insight, I like the fact that the my main character's two sisters, and
Oh,
they take this wonderful imaginary journey uh in their through time travel in their pajamas to Italy. What
you
they
still want to
have,
go?
yes, I'm trying to get there. What they have to do, I made it important. These girls have to use their social skills, they have to use critical thinking, and they have
Oh,
to use
wow.
problem solving skills in order to navigate this country of Italy. But they have fun doing it. I as far as insight, I believe that the lack of exposure to new places and cultures, it leads to an endless cycle in real life. Many, as I was saying earlier, many children grow up to be adults who perhaps due to financial constraints or just a lack of curiosity, they don't they don't get to travel beyond their city or state. And this kind of creates a rift, when it comes to social skills and being socially aware. These children that miss out on this, they they don't they aren't able to really foster much empathy or
I'm gonna
critical.
I'm gonna take
Crit-
us back someplace where some people may be a little bit uncomfortable with it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. It's my show, so
okay.
I'm gonna do it. When you think about what you had just said about certain people or children, African Americans and some people are afraid to leave where they're at. Go back as far, since you took me back. I'm gonna take you back when times that neither one of us were even born. Back to slavery, when we were afraid to leave the plantation because of what we feared was out
Yes.
there. Some of us left, yes, we did, for the freedom, but then there was some that had the opportunity to go, but they did not go because
Mhm.
they were fearful of the unknown. And somewhere
Exactly.
along the line, I feel as though that still exists within certain cultures. And I don't think it's just African Americans, because I had mentioned a place prior to us coming on the air of where I lived, and that whole community, they've never been to the city. And the city is just right
Wow.
next door. And I was really kind of taken back when I moved in that community and I was asking people about things that were born and raised here. They had no idea what I was talking about. So I think that just that's a it's a it's an innate thing
Hmm.
with certain cultures, So it is a cultural thing. I wouldn't want to just say it's for African Americans, but I do understand where it stands with African Americans, low income and things like that. But I look at it as part of our history with
Yes.
that. So
Yes.
for Joni and Juliet's journey, I imagine there are parts that are especially meaningful or exciting to develop, especially if they delve into the relationship dynamics or key turning points in their journey. What part of your
Exactly.
book were you most excited to develop?
I was most excited to develop the illustrations. And I say that because I'm an artist. I have a background in fine art and I majored in graphic design in college. So I was most excited to develop the illustrations because they are colorful, they are
Yes, I love them.
inviting, and they're custom made to capture the attention of children. You know,
Wow.
as a
Natalie says, as a former preschool teacher, I love the concept of your book. And you were right. Your book do appear to be warm. I would have never really thought that the color yellow was that warm and inviting. But when I see the characters and the way that they're holding hands, and now you're telling me that they're sisters.
yes.
Is Joni, now you said you are a family of five. Is Joni you and maybe one of your sisters?
No, Joni is actually my mother and Juliet is her sister, my aunt.
I knew it was some kind of connection. I knew it was something. It wasn't actually on point, but I wasn't too far away. I knew that
You're
they
close.
were related and it had something to do with you.
You are
So
in
wow,
the family.
this is really exciting. This is really exciting. So we're gonna delve and turn attention to Rashana's journey. What would you say are the defining themes or messages in Rashana's journey so far? In other words, who is Rashana Gould?
Whew, who am I?
Brag on yourself. Brag on yourself. You can do it.
Well, I've had a journey myself. Um, as we discussed before we came on, I was born and raised in Washington D.C. and I currently am living in Laurel. By profession, I'm a graphic designer, but as time has delivered, I recently added new author to my resume. However,
Congratulations for that.
thank you. However, this has been a journey. It hasn't been easy. In 2019, about 5 years ago, I suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, an
I'm so proud
artery
of you.
burst. Thank you. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to talk to you today because an artery burst in my
I'm
brain
grateful that you're here.
and I had 5 seizures and 1 stroke in less than 1 hour.
Oh my gosh.
I lost the ability to write, to speak, to draw, all the integral things, the components that made me, I lost. But
Well, you
I
know what? You're a wonderful you right now. I don't know what you were like before, but you're a wonderful you right now.
thank you so much. That means so much to me because I truly did pray in the hospital, in the ICU for a second chance. And God wrapped his arms around me and he never left me for a minute and he gave me
Amen.
that
Amen.
second chance. And I am
Oh, I'm
so
so glad that
thankful.
you did.
Thank
Oh my gosh.
you.
Yeah. Yes. So for a first time writer, it can be both exhilarating and overwhelming, balancing the excitement of bringing characters to life with learning. The intricacies of storytelling is it's inspiring. What inspired you to start this project and what has the process been like for you? Now I know you spoke about a few things, but you said that you are a graphic artist and illustrator. You did the cover of this book.
I
So there's
actually
talent
I actually did
oozing.
not I didn't illustrate it. I could have,
Oh,
but I didn't. That's a secret.
that's a
I
good job.
there's so as an author, you know there are so many intricacies of a book. You write it,
Oh
you have
yeah.
to edit it, you have to publish it, You, there are so many components. And I'm a perfectionist. And I also know myself. So I knew that I I could technically do it, but I couldn't focus. I couldn't give my all to every single thing, which is what I wanted. So
So
I did-
do you illustrate for others?
yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
So you had mentioned I had asked you about how do you promote your books when you said that you do other vendors, you go to other places and you set up your table, I guess. Do you also put that out there that you're also an illustrator? Because if you don't, you should. Because you have people that are there sometime. And I'm saying because I've been to several of them, and you
Hmm.
people don't just have books. Sometimes I go past people's tables just to explore what's out there, and I see people saying, "Well, I'm an illustrator," because they know that those are authors out there and they want to, get into that. Put that out there along with your stuff. Let them know that you're an illustrator and have like, look at me, I'm promoting your stuff and talented. Look, put your stuff out there
Thank
because that's the
you.
only way
Thank
that you're going to
you.
be seen is to put your stuff out there and show your work. Have your laptop sitting there and have your work going up there. They can be like, "Oh, is that yours?" Yeah, yeah, I illustrated that. And this is you got both of them at the same time. You got your book going and you got your illustration going without saying a word. So put
I
that
like
out there
it.
and just keep it going.
I
Yep,
like
just
that.
keep that
Thank
going. That's
you.
what I would. That's what I would. No, no problem. No
Thank you
problem at
so much.
all. It's
I
what we
need
do.
all the advice I can get. I welcome it. Thank
Well,
you.
look, it's just called Building Skills. Building Skills and Confidence with Joni and Juliet's journey sounds like an amazing part of the experience. Have you noticed any new doors opening so far for you? Or are there particular avenues you're hoping to explore as you continue on this journey?
Well,
So I know those doors are opening. If they haven't, they should be.
they are slowly opening. I I am
Okay.
looking, I am welcoming the doors that have opened, but I don't know what's in the future. I don't know what's in store. So I just kind of embrace the moment and let God lead me where He's going to lead me when those doors do open.
Wow. So it sounds like balancing creativity is your thing because I see that. But balancing creativity with industry standards can be a fine line to walk, especially in a debut project like Joni and Juliet's journey. How do you balance the need to be creative with the need to adhere to industry standards? Now, when I say that, I know when I did my children's book, no shade against anybody's culture, so nobody take it there. I wanted my character to be African American, but the company that I was with at that time kept making her a different culture
Mhm.
and a different race. And that's not what I wanted. And they tried to tell me about the industry standards. Well, it took us years for me to continue to fight with them to get her to be who I wanted. So
Wow.
how do you balance the need? Yeah, it was rough. And I was a fairly new author at the time myself. So how do you balance the need to be creative with the need to adhere to industry standards?
Wow, your story is really interesting. Um
Oh, they're crazy.
I
That's what I
can't
say.
believe
They're crazy.
I'm in shock right now. I can't believe that. But
So when,
for
when
my
you sit with other authors, we share stuff. I tell everybody all the time, this is not the music industry. Y'all know y'all got your own problems. But I share and so do a lot of other authors, even when we're at events. Sometimes we just give each other our books. And we don't, I give you yours, you give me, I give you mine and you give me yours, and that'll be it. And that's us sharing. Plus, we sitting there during that time, and we're talking about our experiences and things. Any nuggets that I can give, I'm grateful to do it because if I don't have the children's book that you're looking for, I'll say, you know what, Rashana got it over there. You can go see that young lady right over there. I'm not going to say, oh well, you don't want to buy my book, and I'm gonna clam up,
Mhm.
because that's not what it's about, and you don't get anywhere being that way.
You
So
don't.
I say share alike. So yeah. So how does that work for you?
For me, right now, being in the beginning stages, I've followed my gut. If it doesn't feel right, I just don't do it. I have a very sensitive gut. So I'm very
Good girl.
careful. I'm very careful about what I do, and I move very strategically. As
Good.
I continue again, by being new, I'm learning. I'm just learning what the industry standards are and how things
Look, your
operate.
book is out there, so you're not new anymore. You're new when you start writing. You've
Oh,
written,
okay.
so you're not new anymore. You're not new anymore. You
Okay.
are new. Keep that in mind. You are new when you start writing. It is published, so you're not new.
Okay.
So if nobody already said it to you, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. You're not
Thank
new. You're gonna get the same headaches, heartaches, happiness that the rest of us get. Your background as an illustrator and community advocate likely enriches your storytelling in several ways. So, how do you see these aspects of your background shaping the way you tell Joni and Juliet's story and your own story? Because your story is interesting as well. So, I'm going to let you know before I end this, I'm expecting a memoir from you. So, that's just a little hint. You see how that goes? It just goes hand in hand. So, so I told you
I
you come
love
on this
it.
show. Baby.
I love it. I love it. Well, to answer your question, my mom, I haven't really spoken much about her, but the Adventures of Joni and Juliet s- started out as a passion project. I was grieving the loss of my mother and my aunt, and I needed to get my
Oh, I'm
mind
sorry.
out of that dark space. So I decided to channel them and their relationship. They were the best of friends. And I decided to write a children's book. So in answer to your question, my mother was a people person. She was a people person, and she loved people. I loved seeing her around people. And I believe that I developed that trait from her because I love people too. And when you get to meet people, whether they're from a different state, a different country or city, you learn so much, and you have the
Yes.
ability to create lifelong friendships with these people. And I truly believe in the phrase, when in Rome, do as the Romans, because when you follow this simple age old adage, it is such a humbling experience. It is very humbling. For when I go on trips, I practice. I make this a practice. I practice learning three phrases: please, thank you, and friend in the native language of the country that I'm going to. If you
Mm,
mix
yeah.
those three phrases up, add a genuine smile, and you will be surprised at how many doors you can open, as well as doors that are open for you culturally speaking. I have made so many friends in other countries, and it's honestly just because the postal system is kind of wonky, we can't really keep in touch the way we want to. But I have made
Yeah.
so many friends in other countries. It's amazing.
So I'm curious. You mentioned your aunt and your mother when you were writing this book. Was there any challenges that you faced while writing Joni and Juliet's journey? Because many writers encounter obstacles, whether it's writer's block, self doubt, or balancing different aspects of life while pursuing a creative project. What specific challenges, if it wasn't, thinking about your loved ones, did you face during the writing process? And do you think your background and experience have contributed to your ability to navigate those challenges?
Well, to tell you, I
You
would be lying.
said,
I would be
well.
yes, I would be lying if I told you there weren't any challenges, because the entire process from thought to finish took about 12 or 13 years. First,
Ooh, I
yes,
thought mine just.
It took
Wow.
a long time because first my mother passed away and there was caregiving and grief and so many emotions related to that. Then some years later, my aunt passed away. However, here's the caveat. The caveat is in between their deaths, that's when I had my stroke. I was nearly incapacitated for 2 years. I was in the regular hospital. I was in ICU. I was in the rehab hospital. I didn't see home for a long time. And I was not thinking about writing or any type of creativity in the hospital. My focus was I need to walk. I need to figure out how I'm gonna dress myself again. I need to feed myself. I need to be able to speak. Those were my focus. That was my focus. And actually
Wow.
once, but I have to give credit to the hospital that I was at because once they found out that art was my background, art was in me, they made that a part of my rehab program. They added that. That was not a part of the hospital's regular therapeutic program. They added an art program just for me. And it was set time where they're like,
Mhm.
Rashana, you're going to practice with your injured side how to draw again. You're gonna practice how to write again. We're gonna give you assignments to keep your brain engaged. And I really have to
Wow.
give them, I really, that they went beyond. They went above and beyond because they didn't do that for the other patients.
Nursing skills, doctors.
Yes, I
Wow.
really
So
have to give them.
they saw something in you. You know, you're
They did.
deeply passionate about exploring new places, meeting diverse people, and learning through experiences with cultures different from your own. Your parents instilled in you the value of education and the importance of immersion in various environments. How has this upbringing shaped your ability to connect with others while you're writing?
Like I said, I channeled the the people person in my mom, and I channeled that, and it just when I meet people, it's just instantaneous. You know, I try to meet them where they are, and
Mm,
it's just such a beautiful thing when you keep your mind open. You know, when you are welcoming different traditions, different cultures, different foods. You know, I mean, sometimes you see something and you're like, "Whoo, I'll just pass." But you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so you try it and you end up liking it.
yeah,
You end up liking it and you end up learning about it. You end up learning about the person who made it. You know, this was a tradition in this particular family where the grandmother who's 91 years old has been making it for years and years. And you know, I mean, you just learn so much if you open your mind.
yeah, you do. You know, I read your bio, and so stepping away from the spotlight and escaping reality is essential for recharging and maintaining mental well being. It allows for moments of introspection, creativity, and personal growth. What did you mean by we all need to fall off the radar and escape reality occasionally?
when I
I heard that little chuckle in there, so it's got to be good.
when
I'm
I
waiting for it.
when I coined that phrase, I meant just let your worries go. Take that trip, stamp that passport, go on that excursion, and write that book.
Mm,
Like, do
wow,
what you need to do to unplug from the chaos of this world. My stroke,
wow.
my stroke taught me that. So press pause, slow down, and embrace life. A favorite phrase I
So it
like to
sounds like
quote.
you.
Yeah, I mean, a favorite
Oh,
phrase
go.
I like to quote is, My favorite thing is to go where I've never been. That's a quote I love.
Wow. Mm. I
And
like that. I
I have
might
a
snatch it
lot
up.
of places.
I might have to snatch it up and teach somebody something with that. But it sounds like your resilience and creativity are essential to who you are, especially balancing your career in graphic design. How do you balance your creativity across different mediums like graphic design and writing? How do you balance it? And I know that you said earlier that you're a perfectionist,
Hmm.
but there's got to be some type of balance between it all because it seems like you've done it all. You travel, you create, you just seem to be pulling it together. So I'm expecting greatness from you, to tell you the truth,
Oh,
because I'm
thank
just
you.
hearing so much from you, and I think, and I hope you forgive me for saying this, that you're selling yourself short because you're thinking that you're a beginner, but you have so much experience surrounding what is inside. Let it out and let other people share that, because right now I'm sharing it, and you're sharing it with me, and I'm happy that you are, and I'm happy that you're here. But let it out,
Thank you. Thank you
because I
so
think there's a,
much.
there's a world in there that you might even be surprised by.
Thank you.
So, given your background as, I'm gonna say, an illustrator, it would be exciting to incorporate your own artwork into your books. So, you said you didn't illustrate Joni and Juliet's journey. Do you have any plans on illustrating or collaborating with an illustrator to bring your vision to life? Your vision for
Yeah.
maybe some other book. Oh, okay, good. Tell me about that.
I mean, I have a wonderful illustrator. I love her. I love her. And when we sit down to illustrate something that I've written, I am I have notes, I have sketches, I have clear cut instructions. And she's able to take my, because I literally creative direct every single page. I am like,
Okay.
I I know she's a wonderful for artist, illustrator, but again, I'm a perfectionist. So I need the hairstyles correct. I need the facial expressions on point. I need their pajamas, on correctly. I need everything right. And only I know
Let
how
me
to
ask,
only I know how to do that.
by any chance, are you a Libra or something?
No,
Because you seem to be balanced. You seem to be balanced in there. You would just say you're a perfectionist, and you want to, you get in there. They're doing the work for you, but
I'm I'm in
you have
there.
to tell them exactly
Yes,
what you want.
I
I'm saying, if
am.
you're paying for it, then why not?
Yes, and
Why not? That's
the
like, yeah.
I mean, I love the relationship between us because even if she does not understand, I have a way. I've been told that I can speak in story, so I can tell a story to get you to understand what I need or what I want. So I will, if she doesn't understand my instructions for illustration, I will put her in a story to help her. So I will say something like, have you ever, just like I did with you, have you ever been on a trip? Did you
Oh yeah.
accidentally
You gonna take
step
me
on
back
the
there again.
nail? I'm like, did you forget your slippers and accidentally step on something hard and pointy? How
So
did
you
you
help them
feel?
open up their imagination.
Yes. And
That's what you do.
once that is done, she got it. She has it. She can draw,
Wow.
she can draw that expression that I need for her to be in pain, for someone to be in wincing in
Whew.
pain or happy with joy. But I pride myself on being able to articulate that so that my illustrator gets it, so that I can
So
convey
they
the
have to be in the moment.
yes,
That's what you're bringing them. You're bringing them in the moment. So
yes.
I get that. I get
That's
that.
how I
Wow.
get them. That's how I get them here. Because my mother used to do that. My mother was very good at getting you here first. before she could get you to do something. She would reach your mind so that you can execute whatever she needs you to do.
Wow. So it's just so unbelievable, when you're talking about your mom and your aunt and your journey and everything, and now you're talking about your aunt and your mom's journey as sisters.
Yes.
Is there going to be a follow up behind this? Are they going to be traveling to other states? Because I thought I saw something that says, "Where would you like for them to go next?"
You know,
So you're going to be taking them
actually,
around the world, or
that's a wonderful question. I love your question because you can help me. You can help me, author
let me
Black.
know.
If you go to my website, Rashana Writes, WRITES.net, you can help me choose by voting for where you would like to see Joni and Juliet go to next. So go to
Well, I'm
Rashana
sending them to
Wright.
Virginia to go to that outhouse. That's where they're going. They're gonna get a trip to
You're gonna give me
Virginia.
back.
Let them
You
go
give
to
me
the
back.
outhouse so they can see what it's like. Now, I would definitely go on your website. But if Virginia's there, you know who sent them there, right? That would be me sending them there because they need to get a taste of that outhouse.
Oh, that is too funny. That is too. You never know though. They could end
Yeah,
up.
well,
You
hey,
know,
hey,
you
the
never
thing about
know.
it, I can't even remember what part I was even in. That's how long ago it was, but I was in Alexandria, Virginia, which is nothing like I think where I was at because it was a longer ride. Maybe because I'm closer to it now than I was when I was growing up. But I would love for them to go there and see what that life is like if they haven't explored it already.
They haven't. They
I
don't
really
know.
would.
That could
Okay,
be.
well,
That could
Virginia, here they
definitely
come.
be. Yeah, because outhouses are a part of history, just like you mentioned earlier. Outhouses are a part of our history, and Joni and Juliet are all about learning about new, you know, new things. An outhouse would be
Mm.
considered new to them because they're growing up in a house with a toilet.
Well, it'll be interesting to see them navigate that door where you gotta hold the door and use the bathroom at the same time. Because that's the way it was. And then pray that from where it's at in the back, that there's no snakes in the grass trying to get back to the house. Because that's how bad it was. Okay, so
Wow.
yeah, I didn't told my age, but I gave you that history on that outhouse back there. So for all of you that grew up in the era that I did, Little House on the Prairie was real. They had those outhouses back there. So it was no joke. So when that little Willie was running and he had to go real bad, I could just imagine him trying to hold the door and use the bathroom. So let them go. Let Joni hold the door for Juliet, and then let Juliet hold the door for Joni. Or either forget that she's in there. See, I'm giving you the storyline. But go ahead. You got this story. You got this story.
Oh,
How
so
could
funny.
we've explored the depths of Joni and Juliet's story, her inspiration, and what success truly means for this project. Rashana, it's been a pleasure having you with us. Your passion and insights have truly brought these characters to life. Thank you for tuning in today and joining us on this journey with Rashana. For our listeners, if you're as excited as I am, as we are here with Rashana's storytelling takes her, stay connected and keep an eye out for her updates on her upcoming work. Tell our listeners how they can connect with you.
They can connect by going to RashanaWrites.net. I'm also on social.
RashanaWright.net.
I'm also on Facebook at as Rashana Writes, WRITES, and I'm also on Instagram as Rashana Writes.
Okay. You heard that. RashanaWrites.net. She's also on Instagram and she's also on Facebook. So check her out. Follow the journey. See where Joni and Juliet's going next. Until next time, Keep following your own path, embracing your journey, and never stop creating. Join us tomorrow night on our regular day and time. Because tonight was a bonus show. And see, you got that bonus with Shauna Wright. We'll be going all the way to India to celebrate National Adoption Month with my guests Ruby and Lashmi. After 8, after dark. Oh, Farron says that she's excited to see what's next for you, Shauna.